Welcome to the Paige Trippin' Podcast. I'm Paige, the nervous system coach, mom of four, and the creator of emotional fire drills. This is your safe space to unlearn the pressure, reconnect to your body, and remember who you are underneath it all. We're not stuck, we're just dysregulated. Let's trip. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Paige Trippin' Podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. Today, we are just talking about the real reason we are feeling stuck. And again, it's all about dysregulation. So a lot of people always ask me why I got into nervous system training, because I was an educator, like, or am I going back into the classroom? And the real reason I became a nervous system life coach is because I had to teach this to myself. And honestly, I just was really angry at the systems. And I was like, if I can do anything to help people here and now, I'm going to do it. Because I felt like every avenue I took towards my healing was left feeling like I was bad. I was broken still. When I would go to therapy, I would go into all these things. I realized that I was like, okay, this is great. I'm processing. I'm thinking about it. But what do I do? What do I do? How do I actually move forward? And so the real reason we're stuck is because a lot of the systems that are in place. Now, not all therapists do not work, not all therapists only work with the mind. My current therapist, who I've transitioned out of, yes, I still go to therapy because we can't do our own brain surgery, guys. Like, I got myself so far, but there's still times when I'm like, I need a space for me, right? I still work with coaches. I still do all the things because I am not a finished product and I never will be. So when things come up, I know now how to move forward, and it's 10 times faster. I worked with a coach for 2 months. 2 months. I was feeling down. Again, I was like, you know what? I am not doing things that I know I need. I need accountability. I need some space. I need some time to just work on me again. So I'm up-leveling. I'm doing some different things. Get a therapist that knows the nervous system. So she does something called EDMR, which is like a bilateral stimulation, basically. And I was like, okay, I can work with her because she's not just making me talk about it. She's making me do things, right? She's making me move forward, and we're doing something to really rewire my nervous system. We're not just talking about it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to see how this goes. And it went lovely. And I graduated. Now I go once a month, for a little bit of maintenance. So to be like, okay, this is going on. I meet with her this Sunday. I'm excited. But the real reason we're stuck is because we are only working with the mindset, and the mindset is just 20%. Okay, so I'm going to get a little nerdy on you. I'm going to make it easy though, so just play along. So we go to therapy. We're working on the mind, right? The mind is only 20%. So think of like a dollar, right? We're at 20% of a dollar, right? It's almost like 25 cents, right? We're right there. We're at 20% change, right? Out of 100, we have 20% chance of changing that mindset if we only work with the nervous system. With the mindset, sorry. 20% with just the mindset. It doesn't seem good, right? We're like, why are we spending so much time and energy on the mindset if it's only 20%? Like, what? Okay, so what does that mean? Your nervous system, which is your body, so your eyes, your ears, your physical being walks into the room, not your brain. Your brain doesn't leave your body and go through there and be like, okay, let me scope it out and then come back and tell the body what to do. No, the body is telling the brain what to do, what to execute, right? You touch a hot stove, what do you do instantly? The moment you touch the hot stove, your hand flies up, right? Why? Because your nervous system sent a signal to the brain, right? Something touched the skin, it moves really fast. Mind, do this, move the hand. The hand now moves, right? It all is one unit, but if we don't focus on connecting the two, we have a problem. So here's what mindset work view like only works for me. So I say, okay, if I'm just focusing on my mindset, I'm talking to myself all day, I'm all in just my head. how am I getting it into my body, right? How do I lock it into my body? And so I'm only just in my head all day, right? I'm not actually executing. I'm just thinking about things, and that's why I feel stuck, right? I am a big thinker. That's my husband. I think about everything. Just yesterday, we have a rabbit, and so I extended her little cage because I was like, I don't want to keep her in just a cage. I want to have her like a little yard for her to play around. And so I extended it, but then I'm standing there, and he's like, what? And I'm like, what are we going to do about Christmas? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, she's right where our Christmas tree will go. And my brain then thought of everything. Okay, what are we going to do in the summer? What are we going to do this time? What are we going to do here? He's like, why don't we just think about it when Christmas comes? And I was like, that's not how my brain works. I got to know everything before I go and do it. I need to know to feel safe in my body, right? And he's like, okay. And I was like, I know logically it doesn't matter right now, but physically my body is like, what is happening? And so that is me being in my head, right? But I wasn't locking it into my body. Like, it's safe for me just to enjoy this right now, right? Christmas is far away. we have time. And so that is an example of like just being in the mind, right? We're thinking so much in the future, the past, the present. We're just like all over. That's 20%. Now you walk into a room and it's loud, people are touching at you or hugging you or like coming at you, and you're like, oh my gosh, like sometimes it's overwhelming, right? So we want to remember that our body senses the world, that sends quick signals to the brain. So quick. If you thought about what your nervous system does on a daily basis, it digests, it breathes, it thinks, it does all the things, right? Your body is working so fast. So we need to have safety in the body before we do things, right? Because then it connects to the brain. So we have to do both at the same time. So what does this all mean? Why am I still feeling stuck? We're going to use my social anxiety as a perfect segue into this. Those of you who are watching me online, I'm drawing a heart on my table. If you keep looking at I spilled water, so I'm drawing with it. Okay, so social anxiety. Me going into a room full of people, I get extremely overwhelmed because I'm an intuitive. What does that mean? It means that I feel people's energy in my body. And when I was younger, I didn't understand it. Now I do, so I'm able to control it better. But when I was younger, I'd walk into a room, and then I'd usually be the one hiding over in the corner with my mom because it was too much. I'd be like, I can't. It's like so many people. It's too loud. And I grew up in a really big family, so it was all the time. And I was like, oh my God, this is too much. It's too much. Because I'd feel everybody. If somebody was having a bad day, I felt it. If someone was angry or judgmental of somebody else, I felt it. It was too much. So in order to change that now, what I have done is, one, I've understand, okay, why am I feeling this way? It's because I'm physically feeling overwhelmed from everybody. So before I go into big things, I have to do nervous system regulation. And then I have to remind myself that it is safe for me to take breaks. So usually I'll go outside, or I'll just sit by my kids for a little bit. And while I'm doing that, I'm doing breath work, I'm grounding myself, and people can't tell what I'm doing, but I am doing it, and I'm calming my body down, right? And so that's what we're doing when we work with the body and the mind, right? We need to understand, what is the mind thinking when we walk into this crazy room full of people. We need to understand why our body gets overwhelmed. If we don't understand it, it's okay also. You just be like, I don't know, I get the sensation in my body. I don't need to know where it comes from, to be honest. Like, it's fine. I do need to understand what I start to think, right? So, for example, I'd walk into a room and then I would physically start to get quiet, or sometimes I have a problem with my face. A lot of people like to call it resting bitch face. Some people like to call it bitter beard. I don't know. There's so many names for a resting bitch face, I guess. But I wear my emotions on my face. It has always been very hard for me to contain my emotions. So my sister always laughs. She's like, how can you still be mad? I'm like, I don't know, but I am. And I can't just like, we would fight when we were younger. And she has like a 5-second rebound rate. She's like, we'd fight, she'd be pissed, and then it'd be over. And she'd be like, okay, do you want to go listen to music? And I'm like, what? No, I want to beat your ass. Get away from me. And she's like, what? What? I need to fully process. I need to get it out. But I didn't know that when I was younger. So I would always be like just a bitch to people because I couldn't figure out how to get over what just happened, right? So I had to understand what was happening, like how my body responds to stress, how I need to recoup, right? It all sounds like so much. I always hear people like, this sounds so much. I'm like, no, it's not. It really isn't. It's an unlearning. Like we've always been told to process our emotions quietly away. Like just move on, like pretend you're happy. Like don't do this, don't do that. Like you need to put on a brave face. You need to stop crying, tape an aspirin to it, do that. Like there's all these comments and you grow up in that environment and you're like, okay, stop feeling. And then you never know what you're feeling anymore. You're like, I don't even freaking know. I just know that something's not right because my body's telling me, but I don't know what it is. I'm just angry, right? I'm just feeling whatever the sensation is. And that is when we don't know what we need, right? We don't know because we've never asked the question like, what do I want right now? Do I need to calm down? Do I need alone time? Do I need a hug? And what I'd like to tell my kids is especially my older ones, like I'll ask them like, what do you need? And they're like, I don't know. My twins, because they've been raised with this information, I'll be like, what do you need? Like, what do you need right now? And they're like, I just need a hug, or I just need to be alone. And I'm like, okay, go take it. Go take your alone time, or come get a hug. It's like they've been taught. I've been always asking them, what do you need? What do you need? I'm getting them comfortable with answering that question. Sometimes they say they don't know. So I say, okay, let's try this. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. And that is really it. That is what I'm trying to get across here today. And I know my beautiful ADHD has so much to say. And so you get a little bit of extra information. So really just take this. And I'm going to put this in the show notes at 12 minutes. It took me 12 minutes and 6 seconds to get here, guys. I hope in that 12 minutes you got something, some fun, because honestly, the number one thing you need to take away from here today is simply that it's just about asking the question, what would make me feel good right now? I don't need to know the answer. I just need to try something because I've never done this before. Right? I never done this. And this is where my Oasis Inner Safety Portal membership will come into hand. You just sign right in, pick a tool, try it. If you like it, awesome. If you don't, awesome. You now know that you don't like that tool. That didn't help you, right? You've never done this before. So you have to try. You have to try different things in order to know what you specifically need. Your tools are not going to be the same as my tools, right? I'm going to teach you the tools because I've learned all the tools, but there's a lot of tools on there that I don't do because they don't do shit for me, but they do for other people, right? And that's the beauty of this work is it's not a one size fit all. It is an ever-growing portal of love and attention to yourself. It is really, truly asking the question, what's right for me and what do I need in this moment? And that's it. That is what we're doing here. And that's why we're stuck, is because we're not spending time asking ourselves, what do we need, and giving it to ourselves. We're asking, what is someone else thinking about me, and how do I have to squash myself in order to fit in and make people like me? That's it for today. Go start asking the question, what do I need right now and how can I give it to myself? And try. And if you realize like that shit that you just did was like, nope, didn't need that. Ask yourself the next question. What should I try next time? And then just get curious. Get curious. Stop being judgy because that's where the magic is. And I am so excited for you to start getting unstuck and start getting curious. So we're just getting curious and we're not staying stuck because we're just dysregulated. Start asking what your body needs to feel safe. And that's it. Keep staying regulated. Keep showing up through the mess and know that you are not broken. You're just dysregulated. And it's time to start learning what you need. So that's it. Keep tripping. Love y'all. Bye. You made it through another episode of the Page Trippin' podcast, and I'm so damn proud of you. Remember, we're not stuck. or just dysregulated, and you don't have to figure it all out alone. If you're ready to take this work deeper, to actually feel safe in your body, move through stress without spiraling, and build real nervous system strength, I'd love to support you. You can work with me one-on-one, join my group coaching program, or dive into my online membership at your own pace. Just head to the link in the show notes or find me on Instagram at PaigeTrippin. Your body's ready. Your power's not gone. It's just been waiting. That's it for this episode. Keep tripping, and I'll see you next time.